actor playing Spider-Man to know where Peter Parker goes next when you know that he's involved in the next film?
You know, I'd be excited as a fan too, you know. I mean, for me, I finished shooting Spider-Man, I'm already asking the questions to Kevin Feige, what happens next? He never tells me because you all know I'm terrible at keeping secrets. No, so just as a fan, I was excited to find out, and I still haven't, so I'll wait to see the film.
Has that kind of generally become a rule of thumb now that no one tells you anything because...
Kind of. No, it's great. For me, to play this character is a real dream come true. I mean, I grew up and he was my favourite character, so learning the ins and outs of Spider-Man is amazing.
Can we talk about the new suit? It's... You look pretty happy with even just the mention of it. It's... I mean, even from the trailer, it looks pretty spectacular.
The new suit shoots bubbles, apparently. No, I never actually got to wear it, did I? I was basically wearing pyjamas all the time while all these guys look amazing in their costumes. So I was wearing a mocap suit, but in the trailers it looks amazing. So believe me, I'm just as excited as you guys to see it.
Hey, I think about 80% of the audience here have probably got Spider-Man pyjamas anyway, yeah? With this enormous cast that we had in Infinity War, were there any particular, don't look at any of them behind me, any particular cast members you were really looking forward to working with for the first time?
Pressure.
None of these guys. No, I actually had a great relationship with Benedict Cumberbatch. We had a very... Benedict's backstage actually paid me.
I'm sorry.
We had a very unique experience because we were filming 2 films at the same time together. So one day I'd be playing Benedict Cumberbatch's assistant in a film called Current War, and then the next day we'd be fighting aliens in space. So it was a really strange way to make a film, so we became very close through that process.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like splitting your brain in half.
It was, yeah.
What will you take away from this particular experience of making Infinity War?
Just, you know, meeting new people, made some great friends, became part of something that I've been a fan of since I was a kid, so thanks to these 2 right here who cast me in Civil War, you guys changed my life, so thank you very much.
Good again from Holland, amazing, thank you so much. Last time we saw Bucky, he was in Wakanda.
Yes.
At the end of
Forever.
Black Panther.
In a way, he's gotten a second chance at life, you know. This has sort of become his family that kind of embraced him, and so it's been good. It's been a journey back to essentially who he used to be.
One of the kind of pivotal things of this story is this relationship between Bucky and Steve, and something that I assumed that we were going to see part of, or see it develop, or see the strength or the weakness of that relationship maybe in this film.
Or all of the above.
Yeah, why not all the above?
Kind of like every relationship, right?
Yeah, the highs and lows.
Yeah. Well, I think at this point it's sort of hard to, you know, pinpoint exactly. There are more substantial matters at hand, such as, you know, the villain that we all got to face in this film. So I would say he's more in a place of finding himself grateful that he can be trusted.
Yeah.
And show up for the cause.
And for you as an actor, in terms of having that opportunity to play both a villain and a hero, is that an interesting thing in terms of the arc of a character?
Yeah, always. I mean, you know, it's been a nice thing about the character that, you know, he sort of had this ambivalence that he's always going, you know, in between. You never really know where he's going to end up, and that's always been fun for me, you know, just kind of having a bit of a guessing game, I guess you could say.
And what about working with the Russo brothers as well, and on this particular...
Well, for me, you know, they've been with me, well, I've been with them for the last 3 movies, and, you know, they've always grounded the story, you know, in one way, and so they've got my heart.
Brilliant.
At the end.
In terms of when you look back to when Loki was first introduced to the world and your performance, what do you remember about that time?
One Monday morning I came back and Ken said to me, "What did you do the weekend?" I said, "I saw this film Iron Man. It's really great." He went, "Oh yeah, Downey, yeah." And then I said, "You worked with him, with Robert Altman," and we had this conversation about Downey Jr. And then a year later, we were making Thor together. And both of us felt like we had won the lottery because we were in this world, this kind of new world, and Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, said to me when he was congratulating me on getting the part, he said, I want to talk to you about the Avengers. And I went, hang on a second. I'm still getting to grips with Thor. What are the Avengers? And he told me this dream about a new universe that he was building of all these characters from the comic books, and it was going to be a cinematic universe to mirror the comic books. I thought, that's amazing. And now, 10 years later, I'm still here. And
You're still here, but I want to ask, in this particular film, the villain in Infinity War, the mighty Thanos, and Loki is such a memorable villain, I mean, just incredible.
well, Loki and Thanos have history.
Well, I wanted to ask if what makes a good villain and whether you passed on any advice to him.
Well, Thanos is played by Josh Brolin, who needs no advice from me. And actually, if he were here, he was, I think, having the time of his life on this. He enjoyed it more than anything else he'd ever done. And he said it with sincerity. He said, this is like going back to drama school. I'm at the vanguard of a new technology. I think he was kind of taking the sort of like, he felt like the only one, you know. Just let Thanos go to his head. Yeah, what's interesting about this film is, for those of you who may remember, in Avengers 1, Loki arrives on Earth with the scepter, which contains one of the Infinity Stones which Thanos needs to collect, or used to contain until it resided in the head of the very fine Paul Bettany. And also the Tesseract is another one, the Space Stone. And Loki and the Tesseract also go way back. And some of you have seen the trailer, so not spoiling anything. And I wonder why he's offering. I think Loki, in my head, he's forgotten his cards at home, and he doesn't have any cash. And someone said, look, you've bought the Avengers pizza, what have you got? And he's like, you can have the Tesseract. That's what I think. Oh, come on.
Don't tell me you haven't sat at home and done Spider-Man anagrams.
To be fair, I just asked, what's an anagram?
It was what they had before Instagram.
Got to say huge congratulations on Black Panther and on your character. Isn't she awesome? Shuri, just the most brilliant character, huge fan favourite. What do you love about her?
Oh man, I just love the fact that she's just so relatable, you know. It's like every little sister that's in you know, a household that's nagging at you, but she's super intelligent and she cares about people and she just wants to help out whilst picking on her brother. So just to see the love and the reception, it's been a blessing and really cool. So thank you guys.
What about in terms of being asked to be involved in this Avengers film and knowing that Shuri's part of that journey and where she would go?
Listen, I'm listening. I was just minding my own business, trying to finish off Black Panther, as you do. And then the execs at Marvel was just like, we need to talk to you. And I thought, dang it, like, what did I do? Did I leak something? I'm joking, bro. I'm joking. I didn't do anything. I was like, did I steal something? You know, I take extra food at lunchtime. I don't look it, but I do. And I was like, what did I do? And then they got on the phone and they were like, do you want to be in the next Avengers? I was like, what? I was like, just like that? What about the audition process? You know, do I have to like do something? Read some lines? They're like, no, kid, just be in the film. Say yes, and we'll see you in June. And then I met the brothers, and they were just like, yeah, this is your lab, this is what you're doing, and it was just amazing. So I'm so grateful to be a part of it.
We're so excited to see Shuri's next journey, aren't we?
Yeah.
Letitia, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you talk to me a little bit about your character and how she's taken this journey through, you know, the film since we first met her?
A lot of loss, a lot of death, and now with the surrogate Avengers family, and she has found a partner in the Vision, and they get to have this little secret journey between Civil War and Infinity War.
I want to ask you if the love's reciprocated that Paul talked about.
Oh.
Or is that giving too much away?
No, beyond reciprocated.
Another brilliant thing about the character is how she comes to terms with being able to control her powers, which is a great journey for a character to take. Has that been a fun thing to kind of explore as well with her?
Yeah, it's been really great. And then every film we take it to a different level. And so this one, we worked a lot more with the stunt team, a lot more of actual flying. Flying with Paul side by side, colliding in space. I mean, not space, just like this green screen. But it's been a lot of fun. Every new film is more fun than the last.
And I imagine you learn something new with each experience as well.
Absolutely, yeah. There's always there's a different kind of stakes to this film than the others, and that's what is exciting.
I like how everybody has to get really fit.
Like, I also don't know if I was edited out in such a significant way, and so like even if I say something, it's not actually there. So, but I'm here now, so maybe they want.
I think that's maybe I'm in it. I want to ask what it's been like for you to kind of strap on that cloak of infinity. You know, for Infinity War. But also, you know, in Thor Ragnarok as well, and getting to.
I really enjoyed playing him. So it was fun to be back in the cozy, and the old cloak of me Joker, with its own trailer and riders about when it can have cigars and you know what it needs
living
to launch it. Living the dream, that cloak is. No, it's great fun. We had reshoots on the first film as well as the bit I did in Ragnarok, so it was a genuine thrill to sort of get it all back on for that. And yeah, fitting into this giant mosaic is kind of awesome in the biblical sense. It's terrifying but brilliant, and yeah, you feel like a newbie all over again.
Certainly this is one of the most complicated movies ever made in many ways, but you know, I think all of us appreciated what a special opportunity this was, what a unique opportunity this was. I mean, no one has ever seen a film like this. No one has ever seen this number of loved characters in a single film with this caliber of cast. And that's really what drove all of us. And I think everybody brought their best collaborative energy to the project. Everybody sacrificed hard for the project. It's not only important to us, it's important to audiences, and everybody rose to the cause.
How do you want fans to feel after they've seen this film?
That's a good question. I think we want them to feel satisfied with storytelling, and to feel a complex array of emotions.
I just want a couple of emotions that you might think we might feel.
Doesn't that sound fun? A complex array of emotions?
I think, look, it's certainly going to be a lot of fun when you put all these characters together.
Yeah.
The theme of the movie is about what does it cost to be a hero in a complicated world, and does the cost of, does the value of doing what's right outweigh the cost? And I think it's an important message in this film, and I think it's important in the world today. I think it's going to be a really interesting ride for everyone.
What I think is one of the many reasons that, you know, this success story of 10 years, 19 films, is just that the tone that these films brought right from the start, in terms of they just give you talk about a mixed array of emotions. The tone does that brilliantly and stuff. Was that something that was easy to get for this, with there being so many characters and stories to tell?
Yeah, you know, Joe and I have always thought of ourselves and our creative process as like, you know, akin to like being mad scientists. You know, we like to take disparate elements and smash them together and see what happens, and that's part of the thrill of the creative process. And certainly we had that opportunity on this film, and in one ways it can be looked at as a creative challenge, but it's also the creative upside. And being able to pull from characters that have such a wide variety of tones, films that have such a wide variety of tones, and figuring out how they live in the same space together. What happens when you push them together? I mean, that's why this film was such an intense collaborative process, and that's why we had to rely so much upon the actors in terms of what their instincts were, what their sensibilities were, how would they behave when they met each other for the first time, even though they were coming from places that were so different, not just on a narrative level, but on a tonal level, stylistic level. So it was a complex process, but I think that when all mixed together, it makes for a pretty wonderful stew.
In particular on Infinity War, Taika Waititi was working on Thor Ragnarok at the exact same time that we were shooting, and Ryan Coogler was working on Black Panther at the exact same time. So we had to stay in constant contact with Taika and Ryan about those two films because Taika was going in a completely different direction with Thor and Black Panther. Ryan was developing a whole new universe. So it was important that we stay in contact, so we text each other, call each other. Taika came down to Atlanta, Ryan was shooting across town from us. We would drive over and see his sets and look at the production design and talk about where he was going, so that we could truthfully interpret both those universes.
Scotland does double duty in the movie. It plays as Scotland, as Edinburgh itself, and it also has such a fantastic landscape and feel that we used it for other locations in the universe as well. It just afforded us a wide range of looks and places that we could create out of what existed there.
There's a very compelling scene with Vision and Scarlet Witch that we really wanted the tone of Edinburgh as a backdrop to the scene, and you'll understand when you see the movie.
Great. I want to run down quickly the rest of the team, if that's all right, before we move on and get closer to show these guys this footage. But Sebastian, and to everybody, what's this journey that you've been on with these amazing group of people for however long that has been? What's the thing that you've taken away from it, would you say, to this point?
I mean, probably have no expectations, if that's even possible, which is really hard. You're always sort of surprising kind of yourself, and the outcome becomes all kinds of different things. I think, for me at least, I've always just tried to be open and kind of look about and really take in the moment, because as I keep reiterating over and over, I do feel like we're going to remember these movies for a very long time.
Elizabeth?
A sense of community. It feels nice to return to the same gang over and over again. I hope I get to keep doing it. It's a great group of people we get to work with.
Paul, what about for you, sir?
Box office bumps. It's the same. It's friendship. In films, usually you're just working with, new people every time. To be returning to the same people that know your bullshit, you know what I mean? And you can't get away with it. And we've all gone through real life stuff together. It's been a real privilege.
I think the Marvel universe has been incredibly generous to me, and I feel in the 10 years I've been doing it, which is almost a quarter of my life, how generous the films are and the studio is to the audience. And I feel so grateful. They are superhero films, but goodness always wins out in the end. And I think that's a wonderful message. It's that the goodness wins out in the end.
Thank you. Benedict?
Ditto. I mean, everything has been said, community. It's lovely doing something that's long form, where you return to familiar places or character or the people you work with, the family community of Marvel, headed by Kevin, Louis and Victoria. And yeah, I agree, you learn from your peers, you learn from people younger, Tom, actually, and older, and everyone in between. It's a fascinating culture to be a part of, and we all come from different careers at different places and at different levels, but this is sort of, it feels like a sort of school outing and a treat, It feels like a real treat to be part of this.